Welcome to Cardboard and Plastic. Today I'm going to go over my 25 card CSG order, so kind of the pre-grades. Just have some cards I have from my last order. I have some videos on it. And I'm going to try to give a estimation of each grade. I kind of looked over the cards and picked just 25, and these are not expensive cards. This is $10.80 grading. I have some of my more expensive cards waiting for either PSA or for SGC for some of my vintage. And when you grade, you really don't need that much. I mean, for these cards, I just use a few things. You got to make sure that you have sharp edges. And for the surface, I mean, make sure you start out with the thick grit sandpaper, and then you can really smooth it out with the fine. You can see that this thing's got a lot of use, a lot of cardboard on there. So we'll go over the cards I'm going to grade. And by the way, if you don't get the sarcasm and use a sander on your card, you deserve to ruin your card. So I'll go over these real quick. I have 2 basketball. And so this Moses Malone is not going to grade well. It's going to be 3, a high of 4, probably. It's not centered very well. But again, for cards, I'm always grading. If I buy raw and I add the $11, $12, right, with shipping, it's going to cost about $12 to grade each card. And I think I bought this card for $15 shipped. So for $27, I don't think I could buy a slabbed card for my PC for the Moses Malone. And the surface is really nice on this, so no snowing. So this 3 to 4. This one, I'm a little bit off-center, but this card is really sharp, great color, great surface. Between an 8 and 8.5 for that. So those are my 2 basketball. Now I got some football, and so a couple for my Hall of Fame PC. Now this card, a couple of issues with the corners. It's not perfect. However, the centering is amazing for this card, and this is why I want it graded. And you really can't find a lot of these cards graded. So for however much I paid for the card plus the $12, it's well worth it to me. So this card, with the way that CSG grades vintage, I'm going to say that this is going to be somewhere around a 6. Even with those corners. I mean, they do grade very leniently on cards prior to 1980. This card is absolutely beautiful and centered well. I mean, it's hard to find cards like this. I'm thinking this is going to get an 8. This kind of reminds me of the Carmichael back there. So I'm going to say 8 for that card. I'm going to say a 7 for this 1979 James Lofton. Centering is not great, but decent card, great surface. This, I'm going to say somewhere around 5 to 6 because of the centering. But even though the top to bottom isn't good, I like the left to right centering. So always wanted a slab Joe Montana rookie there, so I bought this raw off of ComC. I'm going to say this is a pretty sharp card. I'm going to 7.5 to 8 for that Dickerson. This card, I think it's going to be right around a 9. This is a really nice example of the 1988 Bo Jackson rookie. So we're going to go 9. All right. I said I wasn't going to grade this with CSG. I was going to wait for SGC because I don't really like the way that they have the plastic sleeves that they throw in the holder. However, with this Earl Averill, it's just too expensive to grade for $30 with SGC, and I don't like using group submitters. So I'm just going to get this slabbed. Um, I'm expecting, I mean, this is a really sharp card with a good surface, just off-centered. I'm going to say we're going to go a 3.5 to a 4 for this one. It's a really clean card. This one, that's just not on the surface of the card, but this card has a rough edge and also some printing defects. There's no creases or anything with this card. I'm going to say this is about a 5. I just started a Worn Spawn run, so this card for 1080 for a 5 be worth grading. The centering is not good for the next two cards, but they're pretty decent. So this is for my Hank Aaron run, and I'm gonna say probably how bad they kill the centering, probably between a 5 and a 6 for this card. Same thing with this Roberto Clemente. I'm gonna say between a 5 and a 6. This Hank Aaron is amazing centering, and this is a really nice card. So this 1973, I'm going to say we're going to just go even 7 for this one. Now, I got two of the same card I'm going to grade, and this is a little experiment for me. I like to see if this works. So I have one that's not as nice, and then one that's very, very nice. So this one is still, I mean, the centering is very rare for these to be this well centered. A little bit of a rough cut, not perfect with the corners. I'm going to say that this guy is going to be around a 6, 6.5. However, I got a much nicer one, and this card is superior in every way, better color, sharp edges, amazing centering. We're going to say that this is going to be somewhere, but I'm going to say an 8 for this one. So I'm hoping they look at that one, grade it like a 6 or a 7, and say, well, we got to grade this one higher. It's a nicer card. This Robin Yount, I'm just hoping it gets slabbed. This is a card I kind of showed you in one of my videos that it's weird. It's a little short. However, it's a little wide. So it's just a weird, like a weird shaped card. If it does great, I mean, it's beautiful. The corners are sharp. It's going to get like a 7 to an 8 if they grade it. So this one was min-sized from PSA. They wouldn't grade it. So we're going to say that if they grade it between a 7 and 8. Not the greatest centering, but pretty good. I'm going to say that this is about a 7 for the Gold Cup Gary Carter. I'm going to start to get all these Gold Cups slabbed, just like the Carlton Fisk. I want those for my PC. This card was another min-sized from PSA, so we're going to try this out here to see what happens. It is a little short, top to bottom. It's just a bad cut across the top. These are not trimmed cards, but they are a little bit smaller, so we're going to see what CSG does to these cards. So I'm going to say that this should get about a 7. Again, if they grade it. This card got another min size, and this, like, a lot of these, like, TCM, what's this, the TCMA cards, they did grade 2 of these at CSG. Were designed to be cheap cards, and the cut on these is just a little weird. This was another min-sized, so I have 3 min-sized cards from PSA in this order. We're just going to see what they do. A little trial here. And looking in the back there, you can see my 1981 Rickey Henderson. I am a sucker for 1980s. And the cards, if they're well centered, I love these things. So I'm thinking about 8s for all of these. I'm not going to give individual grades there. They're all pretty well centered for these 1980s. So I'm hoping to get all 8s on these. Maybe squeak out a 9 if possible, or an 8.5 here and there. But the centering, and these cards are very sharp. They have great surfaces. So I mean, these are all from ComC purchases, and if I see well-centered 1980 rookies for the Hall of Fame, I definitely buy them. Again, great centering for the Gwyn. We're going to go 8 as well in that. Wade Boggs, 8. And I'm hoping to squeak out a 9 out of one of these. Yeah, maybe a little bit higher. I did get a couple of 9.5s, like that Ricky Henderson, my last order. Got a Darryl Strawberry, 9.5. Perfectly centered Kirby Puckett rookie. And this is attempt 2. I had one that got a 3. This is better than a 3. I double, triple checked this for... The other one had a crease, but I don't know if it was there before. But it does have a crease. That's why I got a 3. So hopefully this is going to be about an 8 as well. I mean, this is a well-centered Barry Bonds. So I'm going to be mailing these off. And I'll keep everybody updated. I'm going to show you the return. I'll give you how many days it took for them to get back the bulk service. So again, I hope everybody has a great day and keep on collecting.